What is up, fam? We are finally sitting down to talk about Chaos Zero Nightmare. This is a game that I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit now, so I'm excited we're finally doing this video and getting around to it. Now, this is a horror, gritty gacha game, turn-based gacha game that's going to be releasing here relatively soon. And I believe they have a playtest coming up here relatively soon, right before it releases, that I did apply to and hopefully can get into. But for today's video, what I wanted to do is simply sit down and talk to you all about my thoughts and opinions and impressions on this game. I want to give you what has me excited to play this game and to cover it and to do content on it. I believe there's a lot of really good things in here, subtle good things in here, that's going to make this game really fun to play, but also really fun to cover content wise. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am, or maybe after this video, after we talk and discuss it, you may be as excited as I am. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and hop in. We're gonna sit down and look at some gameplay. I'm gonna look at some of these characters and just discuss Chaos Zero Nightmare. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at this gameplay that we have right here. And this is going to really break down a lot of what I'm excited for this game. Now, first and foremost, what we have to talk about, kind of the elephant in the room, is the chibi models, right? And chibi has never been my most excited, I don't know if you call it genre or aesthetics. I guess aesthetics would be the right word. Never been a big fan of the chibi aesthetics, right? But this one here, I'm gonna be honest, is not too bad, right? It's not too chibi. Like, there's incredibly chibi, and then there's like kind of chibi. This is not as chibi as I thought it was going to be. And I believe the developers in their most recent live stream talked about how they made the models smaller, more chibi-ish, if that's even a word, so that way they can make the enemies seem more imposing, to seem more I guess bigger in a sense, not more bigger, but just bigger in general. So that way you have like an overwhelming presence when you're fighting these enemies, and it makes it feel like the stakes are a little bit higher, right? I guess in that sense. And I could see how that works, going with the smaller chibi models and then the enemies being these large gargantuan horror creature monsters, right? It does work to a degree. But what also works for me as well when it comes to Chaos Zero Nightmare and the direction that they took is with the models. They do have the chibi models, but what I really like, and this is a small touch, and for me, small things matter, right? It makes a huge difference for me, is when you go to select their cards to use them, it brings up like their full actual model. I don't know, you call it a 2D model. It brings up their full model, and it's animation, like it's flowing and it has everything going on, right? And so I really do appreciate and enjoy that, and it makes the chibis not as bad, right? Because you get to actually see the full model when you go to use their card, which is incredible in my opinion, and a small touch, right? They could have just left it chibi and that be it, but they decided to go a step further and use the actual 2D models with animation flowing, like with their clothes is flowing in the wind and whatnot. And that's another thing that I did want to touch on as well, and they spoke about this, the developers, when it comes to the immersion of the game. This is something that I really enjoy about this as well. I mean, look at this enemy right here. It is horrific. Like, you really get that sense of your life is on the line type of deal, and this does really feel horror-esque, which I do enjoy, because we've had a lot of gacha games that are just bright colors and everything's great and wonderful and nobody dies. I did want something to where it feels more risk-taking. It feels like there's more stakes at large here, and that your life could truly be on the line, right? And I feel like Chaos Zero Nightmare is really hitting that for me. But what I was mentioning before I waffled on about that is that the developers, I believe they did talk about the immersion of the environment, and you can see like the grass and the leaves and the rain. It's all animated within the battle, right? And that's a nice, once again, small touch. And it's the small things that matter for me, because I've been playing gacha games for so long now that if you have every gacha game be the same and they all follow the same blueprint, it gets kind of old after a while, and you want something more. You want something a little more innovating, and Chaos Zero Nightmare did that, and I really do appreciate that. Also, the characters, right? The characters and the character models and the animations are all, so far from what I've seen, are really great, and the sound effects as well. When it comes to, at least for the gun user right here, I don't know her name, I forgot her name, but the gun user, the sound effects for the guns and then the bullets and the impact, it's all really nice. It's a very, very nice touch. And then the gameplay itself, right, with the cards and the animations associated with it, it seems like it's simplistic at the surface and then can be a little more in-depth and complex. And then we have this cutscene right here, and it appears that it looks like somebody died. I like that the stakes are on the line. I like that there is something that you have to be aware of, and that, you know, there's potential death. And then the mental breakdown is another feature of this game that is intriguing to me. How you can have this mental breakdown due to the stress that you're receiving, and that each character's stress level is a little bit different. I'm going to bring it back because there was a mental breakdown on this character right here. I'm going to bring it back to about right here, where one of the characters, they do have a mental breakdown, and that is a detriment initially, and the developers put it this way, but you could also make it as like a comeback right here. Absolute mental breakdown. And I love that how each character has a different animations for the mental breakdown, and that they each have different ways of handling that mental breakdown. But they said you could use it as a comeback to be able to use their most powerful ability after you recover from that mental breakdown. So there's like a strategy behind it. So I think that's a really cool aspect to this game as well. And there's just, I think they have a lot going for them when it comes to Chaos Zero Nightmare, between the characters and their gameplay and their animations, as well as the small touches that they put on the immersion of the game and the environment that they have here, and then the enemies and the risks that are associated with these enemies. It feels like the tension's very high at all times. The music is great as well, and I'm really looking forward to delving into the builds and delving into the mechanics and the technicality behind the combat. Those are things that I'm excited for as well when it comes to Chaos Zero Nightmare. So for me overall, there's a lot to be excited about. The last thing that I did want to go ahead and touch about on this game, which I know has been a hot topic lately within the community that I've seen at least, is the gacha system. I haven't been able to experience it myself, right? I haven't played any betas or gotten into any playtests, but apparently that this game does have a 50-50 gacha system. Now, what I will say is that 50-50 in gachas seem to be the norm ever since Genshin Impact and just Hoyoverse in general, but it's never been my most favorite gacha system. And the reason being is because losing the 50-50 is just a feels bad moment, right? And nobody ever wants to, you know, use all their currency just to lose the 50-50 on a character that they weren't even trying to get. I've never been a fan of the 50-50 system, but if it's a low enough pity, which I think the pity is decently low, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that. If the pity's low enough, then it's not that egregious, and they always have the opportunity to change it. We'll have to wait and see. Apparently there's a weapon banner as well. I don't know how that is in terms of there's a 50-50 there or not. I've heard through the grapevines that there isn't a 50-50 on the weapon banner, but the fact that there is a weapon banner, it makes it a little feels bad as well, because it's tough to, you know, pull for a character, lose the 50-50, and then, you know, have to still pull for the weapon. And, you know, how important are the weapons going to be for these characters? We'll just have to wait and see. But it is starting to become the norm, which is unfortunate. I would love to just have a standard gacha system where it's just a straight up pity, you get it and you're good, and not necessarily have to have a weapon banner. They come with the weapon, but you know, it is what it is. We'll see how it progresses as the game moves on, but I'm incredibly excited about Chaos Zero Nightmare. I think they're doing a lot of things good. I think they're doing a lot of things right, and I think so far I'm very interested to see how this game plays and what it all has to offer as we, you know, dig deeper into it. and we really unravel the depths of this game. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions down in the comments below. Are you excited for Chaos Zero Nightmare? Are you not excited? Let me know the reasons why. And hopefully we can get into that playtest, do some extensive testing, and be able to bring you some really good content on this game. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name's Cody. Call me further. I'll see you all next one. Bye, guys.